Hey, I'm Stevie Mackey. I'm a vocal coach for some of the world's biggest artists. The fundamental skill of singing is by far mimicking. If you can copy what you hear, you can copy good singers. Let's be Aretha, let's be Elton John. You'll hit notes you didn't know you can hit.
She was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene.
All I try to do is just become that. I don't doubt it, I just go. The fundamental skill of singing is by far mimicking. Mimicking is being able to copy sound. If you can copy what you hear, you can copy good singers and make the sounds that they make. So mimicking starts very young. It's the key to talking because you're not born singing or talking. It's all learned by mimicking. And we make sounds that our parents make. And then we learn how to speak. And we do that before we can even read. And so I think that it goes unnoticed sometimes, the power to mimic people, the power to mimic. And I grew up kind of mimicking sounds my whole life, any sounds. I'd mimic cartoons and birds and bells and dings and all kind of things. I would just, in my head, I'd hear it and bing, bing, and I would just copy everything I heard. It was a exercise I was doing that I didn't know would ever benefit me. But so I think that indirectly helped me become a singer. So I would mimic the sounds of the great singers my parents were playing in the home. And I was like, oh, I could do that. I can copy what they're doing. And it became singing. Some of the first noises I remember copying were sounds that like even like my dad revving the car and beeps like alarms and stuff. I would be able to mimic other children when they were crying. And I would just do it to annoy them, and I would be able to mimic their sounds and other kids' voices. When they would say something, I could tease them back in their own voice and turn my voice into other people's voices. It was really weird. Definitely cartoons, though. That was a big thing. I love cartoons. I made up my own cartoons, and they all had voices. And I would mimic every single sound from every cartoon. And I loved funny voices. And I turned myself into that. I'm definitely a Disney kid. So Mickey Mouse, Goofy, like I did Mickey all the time. All the time.
Oh, hey, Pluto. Oh, gosh. Oh, here we go. Oh, boy, we're going to sing. Oh, we're going to Disneyland? Oh, boy.
I do Elmo.
Elmo loves you so much. Elmo loves Max. Elmo loves Stevie. Elmo loves all the people here. Elmo loves everyone.
And so it's that part of your voice where it's like in the middle of falsetto and chest voice. And so I kind of learned that part of my voice by mimicking Elmo. And there's others, but those are my two favorites. I love those guys. I always discover that a lot of great singers are mimickers. And you'll see them on the night shows, just mimicking other singers. You'll see them doing voices. And who does it? I saw Ariana Grande do it. And she did like Christina Aguilera. She did, who else did she do? She did some other singers. And singers are able to mimic each other sometimes. And it's a thing that has been going on a long time. And it's a really cool relationship that I think I call it, like, just they're sound makers, and the best singers can turn their voice into other voices too. And I think it's a really cool thing. I know it seems like a separate thing, but it's the closest thing to singing. It's the closest thing. You cannot be a singer if you can't hear, if you can't copy sounds. And so we like to think of ourselves as very original. I'm unique, I'm original. That's how singers like to think of themselves. We love that, oh, I sound like no one. You're literally a collection of all the sounds you've ever heard. And that's what it is. And that is unique because everyone has listened to different people, and there's so many millions of calculations of how that can work. You are unique, but you're also a collection of everything you've heard. You're copying sounds from artists your parents liked, and artists that you liked, and your friends, and you put all that together, and it makes you unique. And so it's almost the same thing. So all it is sound, and all you need to do after that is find the story you want to tell and put those sounds on top of the story.
So how does that make me a better singer?
How does that make me, I'm just listening to you talk right now. So how does that make me a better singer? So how does that make me, say it again? How does that make me a better singer? Do it again. How does that make me a better singer? Do it again.
Am I copying you or are you copying? How does that make me a better singer?
Do it again. Go. How does that make me a better singer? How does that make me a better singer? How does that make me a better singer? And the more I do it, the more I sound like you. So imagine if you were an amazing singer doing that. If you're an amazing singer going, oh, whoa, doing something really cool or yeah, and I do it, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. If I can do that quicker and quicker and quicker, that's what makes me better. I didn't create that, but I'm just becoming that. I'm copying it.
She was more like a beauty queen than the music scene. She was more like a beauty queen. She was more like a beauty queen.
I listen to how he's breathing and I kind of imagine how he's moving. And I'm just listening to the pitch a lot, like listen to the pitch and how he comes in. I just hear everything he's doing and put myself into that situation. Let me see if I could, of course I can't dance. I can't do this in dancing. It's only singing.
Sing, I said.
It's just so much breathing. He was very percussive. Michael loved drums. So I know that. And so he always keeps his time.
She was more like a beauty scene. She was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene.
It's all that extra stuff that makes Michael Michael. It's all the extra stuff. He's doing a bunch of extra stuff besides singing. He's making noises, he's breathing, it's percussive. And that's what makes him so iconic and special. All the other noises, that's the soul of it. And so for someone like that, I pick that up and I say, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use it and implement it in different songs that I'm singing.
You're here. There's nothing I fear. And I know that my heart will go on. We'll stay forever this way. You are safe in my heart, and my heart will go on and on and on. Oh,
That's high.
go on far across the distance, spaces real.
Trying to copy her tone.
Do you believe in life after love? Inside me say, I really don't think you're strong enough now. Do you believe in life after love? What am I supposed to do? Sit around and wait for you, but I can't do that. There's no turning back. It's so sad that you're leaving. It takes time to believe it.
I love Cher.
What are you thinking about when you're doing that?
Cher.
But like,
I'm Cher. I'm not thinking about anything, Max. I'm not thinking at all. I don't think because one clear thought will mess me up. I don't want to think about anything. All I try to do is just become that. And so I don't want to think about it. I just say, I don't doubt it. I just go. I try to match it. And I'm literally trying to match the sound exactly as I hear it. This is the kind of game I play. We sit around and sing. We sit around and copy singers and say, let's be Aretha, let's be Elton John, let's be Bowie, let's be, we just sit around and just copy different voices. And it's so much fun because it always helps singers to stretch themselves out and to just try different things. And you can't help but improve when you're doing this. You'll find, because if you think about yourself, you'll limit yourself because your brain only knows what you can do. You are exploring your own voice as you explore other people's voices, as you explore other sounds. You have to leave yourself to improve upon yourself. And you are learning your voice because all these sounds you're making are coming from your voice. They're all coming from your voice. It's like it's just like you're lifting a weight in the gym, and then someone tells you that by twisting the weight this way and lifting it, you get more of a outcome. You get a better outcome if you take that same weight and move it this way or go this way or twist it this way. And you're just working a different part of the muscle, and you get a more well-rounded workout. So by stretching my voice in different directions, by mimicking different singers, my same voice is getting a workout in different directions. It's being pulled in different directions. So I get to know it better. So yeah, you're always learning your voice when you're mimicking. And so this is something I want you to try over the next month. I want you to pick out different artists and start to try to mimic them. Mimic your favorite artists and see how close you can get to their sounds. And you're depositing these sounds that you're making into this bank. And so when it's time to actually perform, you have something to give. You have something saved up. And you use these sounds, you pull from these sounds, and you don't even have to try sometimes. These sounds just come out because you've put them in your sound bank. And so it's just like that. You copy sounds, you try them out, you copy little runs and riffs or tones or vibrato, and you copy these different sounds you're listening to, and then when it's time to use them, they show up.
So now that we've kind of played around and gotten to know your voice a little more, I want you to stretch your voice out even more. I want to hear all the sounds that you're hearing, and I want to see you kind of mimic them. I want to see how well you can copy general crazy sounds.
Let's give it a go.
Do this. Nya, nya, nya.
Nya, nya, nya.
Nya, nya, nya.
Nya, nya, nya.
Great.
Great.
Yeah.
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 So,
So,
Zachary,
yes?
who do I sound like?
Who do I sound like?
God Almighty?
God Almighty?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Arf. Arf.
So.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right in there. Yeah. So let's see. Do this. Ow. Ow.
Ow. Ow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a little growl that you can add to your voice too. You mentioned you could do Ray Charles and some stuff like that. If you did that, I wonder how it would sound. I know it. I don't want to hurt your voice. Can you do What a Wonderful World?
What a wonderful world.
What a wonderful world.
I see trees of green.
I see trees of green.
Yeah. I really think people who listen better become better singers. And there's a direct connection between your ears and what comes out of your mouth. No one is born singing. No one's born talking. It's all learned by listening and mimicking. Every little kid has to just listen, and then they start rehearsing what they've heard, and it becomes second nature to them. And so there's also a processing section. A lot of people are great listeners, but it goes to your brain first. What you're hearing goes to your brain first, then processes, and then it can be translated into a note. And so that process for some people doesn't exist. They can't translate what they're hearing into a note. And that is, you don't have that. You have the process works very well. You're able to mimic and replicate. And it's just very interesting to me. I study listening as much as I study noise making. I study listening and how can some people whistle and not sing. That's amazing to me, and how some people are able to tell if you're a good singer or not and judge singing, but they can't sing. And they know what good and bad is. They're able to hear it very well, but they're not able to do it themselves. And so I get a lot of questions in my own head and have to do my own experiments about what I believe about singing. And I do know that when you're very young, the more you are aware of what you're listening to, you can copy it sooner. And things that you've known longer, you can replicate faster.
Yeah.
So that's why people can sing Happy Birthday, and people can sing We Will Rock You, or songs that they've known their whole life, even non-singers, because they've heard it for so many years. So the longer you've known something, you're more likely to be able to reproduce it. I've also noticed that actors tend to be very good mimickers and potentially great singers. And they're able to do this because their whole life they're putting on characters, and they have to be someone else. They're used to changing their voice. So
their voice muscle is used to being moved in a different way. So they don't have to go much further to just add melody to it. They can become great singers. And a lot of actors will surprise you, like Jamie Foxx or Eddie Murphy, or, we're saying, maybe Don Cheadle, and many actors over the years, many actors and actresses are incredible at transforming into singers. And it's something that Hollywood used to put into their regimen, and their acting regimen, voice lessons all the time. And they kind of have to be malleable and ready to take on characters. It's really cool to hear actors sing. I think that's one of my favorite things. I've worked with Kerry Washington even. She's an awesome singer. And, people, they're known for their acting, but sometimes these actors also went to school for theater and they have experience in it.
Because that's why you see a lot of them on Broadway.
Yeah,
too. It's like,
exactly. It's second nature to them. And so it's a really cool thing to see actors pick up a microphone and start singing, and I love that the most. And it's surprising. I would love to record a lot of actors, actually.
are there any really surprising actors?
Channing Tatum, I worked with him. He was pretty surprising, and like for him to become a voice, and I helped him sing something that was awesome. Like I said, Kerry Washington was she went to school for theater. She's amazing. And so there are others that I've seen in movies. Of course, like, even as A Star Is Born, Bradley was amazing.
Yeah.
And you see how well they listen. They take on a role, they put on accents, and he put on that voice. And it's his voice, but he was able to just live in that character. And it's really cool to see that. I think sometimes you could be a little vocally timid, like just stay in a safe place.
Yeah.
So I want you to try to mimic me on some different sounds and some different things, just to stretch your voice out in a different way.
Yeah.
And I want you to do a little growl with me.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Say, yeah.
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 Hey.
Harry.
Yeah, more like that, yeah. Boulder.
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 Yeah. That expression can be put in like in your lines of the song. It's just, you can put that in bolder when you're saying it. I mean, you kind of, time makes you bolder. Your B is more pronounced when you just did that.
Yeah.
And the O, and there's an air behind the O. Bolder. There's that air in it.
Yeah.
Things like that add. And it's just expression that's natural when you just want to yell out something. Mm-hmm. Or do this with me. Nya, nya, nya.
Nya, nya, nya.
Nya, nya, nya.
Nya, nya, nya.
Yeah. So that's like the high pitch when you put your tongue at the top of your mouth. It's very nasally, and it kind of clears your passages. Nya, 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 nya. So in certain places, I'll use that, like in children. Children get older. Children. It's right there. Children get older, and I'm going there. You have to have that passage clear. So exaggerating on different sounds. Nya, nya.
Nya, nya.
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 I like Elmo. Hey.
Hey.
Elmo.
Elmo, Elmo.
Elmo loves you so much.
Elmo loves you so much.
You have a pretty good Elmo for a girl. That's really cool. That's like your mix area. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a part of singing too. And you go into those areas. It sounds crazy, but you use that when you're singing.
Yeah.
I want you to try something that Tina Turner does. What's Love Got to Do with It? I love that song so much. What's love got to do with it? She's such an amazing performer. She has a really raspy voice. You have a smooth voice overall, but I think if there's anyone you need a little more of, it'd go this way. So I'm gonna just bring you a little over this way.
Okay.
What's that? What? It's just like that part of my voice. My voice is very smooth like yours, but I mimic singers like this in church and different places. Yeah. It's super loud. Sorry, I'm killing microphones, but it's it's right in there. It feels weird, but it's not gonna hurt your voice a little bit. It's just like, it's a sound. Mm-hmm. What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. It's an emotion. Got to do with it.
Do that.
Got to do with it.
Got to do.
Got to do.
It's not even a note. It's not even a note. It's beyond a note, and it's just an expression. It's like you're talking, and you're like, I got to tell you something. I gotta say it. Do that.
I gotta tell you something.
I gotta say it.
I gotta say it.
More cracker. I gotta.
I gotta.
There, right there. Do it again. I gotta.
I gotta.
Yeah, it's just that little break right there. Got to do with it.
Got to do with it.
Yeah, got to do with it. Got to do with it.
Got to do with it.
Yeah, this time we fell off the note. That was perfect. You want to fall off the note and unsing it. Got to do with it. Falling off the note makes you feel like you're throwing it. And it makes you feel like you're not concerned about the note. You're not concerned with singing. You're beyond singing. That was the magic of Aretha and Tina and this rock soul era that just created that American soul sound. That they fall off the notes.
After seeing that, you get the feel of how important mimicking is to singing. So whether you can really sing or not, you can copy sound. The great thing about mimicking is you learn that you have less limits than you thought. You learn that you're very limitless, and you'll hit notes you didn't know you can hit. You'll do things you didn't know you could do. You'll make sounds you didn't know you can make, just because you have to be this character and they'll make the sound. So you turn yourself into them, and you'll just push everything in you to sound like them. And so this is what we're going to be exploring over the next few days.